Every single day, over 200 million people open ChatGPT and ask it questions. They use it to write emails, solve problems, learn new topics, and even write code. But here's the interesting part. Most people have absolutely no idea how it actually works. Is it searching the internet? Is it thinking like a human? Is it somehow intelligent? The answer might surprise you, because ChatGPT isn't magic, and it's definitely not alive. It's something far more fascinating. It's pure mathematics and statistics working at an incredible scale. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how ChatGPT works, starting from absolute zero. No prerequisites, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations with visuals that make everything click. By the end of this video, you'll understand what's really happening every time you send a message to ChatGPT. Let's dive in. So what exactly is ChatGPT? ChatGPT stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer. That's a mouthful, so let's break it down. Chat simply means it's designed for conversation. Generative means it generates new text. It doesn't copy and paste from a database. Pre-trained means it learned from massive amounts of text before you ever used it. And Transformer is the revolutionary architecture that makes it all possible. We'll explore that in a moment. But here's the most important thing to understand right now. ChatGPT is what we call a large language model, or LLM for short. Think of it like this. If you've ever used autocomplete on your phone, where it predicts the next word you're going to type, ChatGPT is essentially that, but on an absolutely massive scale. Your phone might predict one word. ChatGPT can predict entire essays, conversations, and even write code. But at its core, it's doing the same thing, predicting what word should come next, based on patterns it learned during training. It's not searching for answers, it's not looking things up. It's generating responses word by word, token by token, based on probability. To understand ChatGPT, we need to understand its foundation, neural networks. A neural network is inspired by how your brain works. Your brain has billions of neurons connected together, passing signals to recognize patterns, like seeing a dog and instantly knowing it's a dog. Artificial neural networks work similarly. They have layers of artificial neurons that process information and find patterns. Here's a simple example. Imagine we want to teach a network to recognize if an image contains a cat. We'd show it thousands of cat pictures. Each layer of the network learns different features. The first layer might detect edges, the second layer might detect shapes like ears or whiskers, and the final layer puts it all together to say, yes, that's a cat. Now, ChatGPT uses neural networks, but instead of images, it processes text. And instead of a small network with thousands of connections, ChatGPT has 175 billion parameters in GPT 3.5 and even more in GPT-4. Parameters are like the knowledge of the network. They're the mathematical weights and connections that were learned during training. More parameters mean more capacity to understand complex patterns in language. But here's what makes ChatGPT special. It doesn't just use any neural network. It uses a specific architecture called a transformer, invented in 2017. This was a game changer, and I'll show you why. Before transformers existed, AI struggled with language. Why? Because language is all about context. Look at this sentence. The bank was steep, so we couldn't land the boat. The word bank here means riverbank, not a financial institution. You knew that instantly because you understood the context of the entire sentence. Old AI models processed words one by one in sequence. They struggled to keep track of context, especially in long conversations. Transformers solved this with something called attention. Here's how attention works. Imagine you're reading the sentence. The cat sat on the mat because it was tired. When the transformer reads it needs to figure out what it refers to. Is it the cat or the mat? Attention allows the model to look back at all the previous words and figure out that it most likely refers to the cat. Because cats get tired, mats don't. This happens through something called self-attention. The model assigns attention scores to every word in relation to every other word. Words that are more relevant to each other get higher attention scores. So when processing it, the model gives high attention to cat and tired, connecting the meaning together. This happens simultaneously across all words in your input, in multiple layers. ChatGPT has dozens of these transformer layers, each one understanding deeper and more abstract patterns. The first layers might understand basic grammar. Middle layers understand sentence structure and relationships. Final layers understand complex reasoning, tone, and intent. This is why ChatGPT can understand context across long conversations, remember what you said earlier, and respond coherently. Here's something crucial. Computers can't actually read text. They only understand numbers. So before ChatGPT can process your message, it needs to convert your words into numbers through a process called tokenization. A token is a chunk of text. It might be a word, part of a word, or even a single character. On average, one token equals about 4 characters, or 3/4 of a word. Let me show you an example. The sentence, ChatGPT is amazing, might be split into these tokens. ChatGPT is amazing. Each token gets converted to a unique number. The word chat might become the number in 5496, amazing might become 2536, and so on. These numbers then become mathematical vectors, basically lists of numbers that represent the meaning and relationships of that token. Here's the cool part. Similar words get similar vector representations. The vectors for happy and joyful would be close to each other in mathematical space, while happy and sad would be far apart. This mathematical representation is what allows ChatGPT to understand meaning, relationships, and context. When ChatGPT generates a response, it's actually predicting the next token number, then converting that back into text that you can read. This tokenization is why ChatGPT has a context limit. GPT 3.5 can handle about 4,000 tokens at once, while GPT-4 can handle up to 128,000 tokens in some versions. That's roughly equivalent to 100,000 words. So how did ChatGPT learn to understand and generate language? Through an absolutely massive training process. Imagine you're learning a new language. You'd read books, have conversations, practice writing. ChatGPT did something similar, but at an unimaginable scale. OpenAI fed ChatGPT hundreds of billions of words from the internet. Websites, books, articles, code repositories, and more. We're talking about a significant portion of all written human knowledge up to its training cutoff date. But it didn't just memorize this data. Instead, it played a game called Predict the Next Word. Here's how it worked. The AI would see a sentence with the last word hidden, like the sky is gore, and it would try to guess what comes next. Maybe it guesses red. The training system checks and says, nope, the actual word was blue. The network then adjusts its 175 billion parameters slightly to make blue more likely next time in similar contexts. This happened trillions of times across billions of different sentences. Slowly, the network learned patterns, grammatical rules, facts about the world, common phrases, writing styles, and even how to reason step by step. This phase is called pre-training, and it took months of training on thousands of powerful GPUs, costing millions of dollars. But OpenAI didn't stop there. They added a second training phase called fine-tuning with human feedback, or RLHF for short. Human trainers had conversations with the AI and rated its responses. Is this response helpful? Is it truthful? Is it harmless? The AI learned to produce responses that humans preferred. This is why ChatGPT tries to be helpful, honest, and respectful, rather than just predicting any random text from the internet. Now let's watch what happens when you actually send ChatGPT a message. You type, explain photosynthesis simply. First, your message gets tokenized into numbers, just like we discussed. Those tokens flow through dozens of transformer layers. Each layer applies attention mechanisms, figuring out which words relate to which, what context matters, and what you're really asking for. After flowing through all the layers, the model outputs a probability distribution over all possible next tokens. It might say there's a 30% chance the next token should be photo, a 25% chance it should be plants, and tiny percentages for thousands of other possibilities. The system picks one token based on these probabilities, usually the highest probability one, but with some randomness to keep responses interesting. That's controlled by something called temperature. That first token gets added to your conversation. Then the whole process repeats. The model takes your original message plus the token it just generated and predicts the next token. This continues, token by token, until the model generates a special end token or hits a length limit. And here's the wild part. This is all happening incredibly fast. ChatGPT is generating roughly 30 to 50 tokens per second. That entire thoughtful paragraph appears word by word in just a few seconds. It looks like ChatGPT is thinking and typing, but really, it's just predicting the most probable next token millions of times in a row at lightning speed. Now that you understand how ChatGPT works, let's clear up some misconceptions. ChatGPT is not conscious. It's not thinking or understanding in the way humans do. It's performing statistical pattern matching at massive scale. It cannot access the internet in real time or know current events beyond its training data. It can hallucinate, meaning it will sometimes generate false information confidently because it's predicting plausible-sounding text, not searching for truth. It doesn't have memory between separate conversations unless you're using features like custom instructions. Understanding these limitations helps you use ChatGPT more effectively. So there you have it, ChatGPT in a nutshell. It's a massive neural network trained on human text, using transformers and attention to predict the next word over and over, creating responses that feel remarkably human. The technology is advancing rapidly. GPT-5 is likely on the horizon with even more capabilities. Now you understand what's really happening behind the scenes. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe for more AI explanations, and drop a comment. What AI topic should I explain next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.